Can video games become art or even fine art? Well, I think yes, and that's my personal opinion, but I have a game to back this up with. And this game is called Inside, created by Playdead and published on June 29th, 2016. Inside has really reached a cult-like status because of how well crafted and designed the game is, and how strong of a philosophy they have in their studio when creating games. Inside is a large air quotes 2D side scroller with puzzle and platforming mechanics, and really only has three actions, which are the movement, the actual interaction with objects, and jumping. Well, I mean, I guess that's two. Anyways, when I say 2D side scroller, I really mean that the game is actually running in 3D, but you are only able to go left and right and up and down, but you're not able to go on the other axis. A lot of the gameplay in this game is just solving puzzles and to keep going right. But the other half of the game is how do I describe this? It's almost like a walking simulator where you experience the environment, and the environment feels alive and gone and faded, as best as I can describe it. The game has very little color and relying on very specific points and sceneries in order to give the very little color, and even then the color feels faded, so you know that this world is dreary and dystopian and something's wrong with it. And this game really just took me like 3 hours to beat, and I think that's including 5 hours to beat and including the secret ending, which we'll get to. Inside is the spirited successor to Limbo when it comes to storytelling in the environments. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's ask the same question again. Can games be art? Well, by Wikipedia's definition, art is the process of deliberately or production of deliberately arranging elements in a way that appeals to the senses or emotions. So, really, technically, anything can be a game. Anything that's designed with a purpose or an intent. But I think I really like, what's his name? McCloud? Yes, I believe so, McCloud. I don't have my notes with me. Which he aligns 6 layers of art, which are idea/purpose, form, idimism? Wait, hold up. Han! Babe! I have a question. Can you come here? Idiom. Structure, craft, and surface. These 6 layers are really familiar to game design in general, I feel like. And look, I'm not an expert when it comes to video game design or even art, but I do know that a lot of games fall into these categories, or at least what I can interpret. So, for example, let's talk about Death Stranding. I don't own Death Stranding, but I know for a fact that the whole idea of the game is to connect players around the world and to help them out without knowing who they are or what their background is or any of that. It's just blindly helping anyone that you can help with. The form is using the video game medium internet infrastructure in order to connect these players. And really, like, the idiom and structure and craft, I really don't know because I haven't played it. I know that idiom is it's a third person action game, but I don't really know much of the story and craft. But I do know that the what is it called? The Dicemia engine looks amazing. So, anyways, the most important points that come out of this little. Not this little, come out of Death Stranding's 6 layers is really the idea and its form. And keep that in mind because I'm going to be talking about the story here. But before that, I have a little quote from a article called Behind the Scenes of Playdead's Indie Hit. And it goes, quote, "We don't serve the story on a silver platter. In that regard, it may seem a bit artsy and non-explicit. We want it to be more suggestive in what information it gives the players, so the players can create their own ideas on what is actually going on." Let that sink in for a moment. So, anyways, on to the story. It is weird. You boot up the game with this seamless transition from title to pretty much just basically controlling the character right then and there. You control a boy with a red shirt. At the beginning, you're running right, and you are being hunted by these people in masks. They don't even consider your well-being, so it seems very off that these people are almost trying to kill this boy. And they even let hounds, vicious hounds, to go chase after you. I mean, just listen how loud they are. As you keep, these vicious dogs, I think, play a part of the theory that I have later on, which we'll get to. As you keep going right, and into the farm, you start noticing that everything is destroyed, yet somehow functional. Which, in the farm, you're able to control these husks of people. The gameplay will show it. It's kind of weird to explain it out loud. You just control people who are not there, I guess you can say. After you finish the puzzle with the husk, you go into the city, which then shows you in the environment that all these people are lined up and synchronizing their steps, which implies mind control, which is also backed up with the earlier puzzle. But anyways, after you accidentally fall into the line and do the task that the husk are doing, and if you don't, you get tased, and it's very horrifying. And man, Playdead, what the hell, man? What? Why do you have to do this to the kid, man? He didn't do nothing. Well, anyways, I'm losing track. Anyways. After you escape the line, we'll call it, you get onto this submarine section, and you are chased after these kids with long hair that seem to not lose the ability, or not being able to lose air when they're underwater. So they're just fish, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. They're not able to die. They don't lose breath. Well, I was able to explain it. God, jeez. Anyways. After a while with the submarine, you get trapped by one of these kids, which brings you down and further and further. But then you notice that the kid with the long hair actually puts in some sort of device on your stomach. It disconnects, and as you fall to the ground, you wake up and you all of a sudden have the ability to breathe underwater. So, that's... I don't know how to explain this story. So, after that, you escape the testing facility, which, by the way, there's a bomb section. Sonic thing. And it implies that there's been a war of some sort, or at least a big investment in weapons technology. Because, ooh, man, I think that was the most nerve-wracking part in the game for me. After all that, you reach a lab, which then you reach the blob. And, oh man, let me tell you, the blob is weird, just like this game. The blob seems that it seems that it wants to escape. It does not want to be captured and tested on at first. So then, after you wreak havoc in the laboratories, you reach a beach and you lay in the sunlight. And that's it. That is the whole game. And look, the reason I chose this game was because of this controversial ending. I saw it in multiple playthroughs, or not playthroughs, sorry, just ending explained and stuff, when it came out back in 2016, and it was super controversial. And I agreed back then, and I think now that I have gotten older, I have my own theory as to why Playdead did this. So, theory number 1, simple and easy. The higher society, which it's the people wearing the mask, created the blob in order to have a perfect society. They just control everybody. There you go. Second theory, same concept. The higher society created the blob in order to control the lower class, but it got out of hand and destroyed a lot of infrastructure, or at least a lot of their civilization. So they tamed it, and until the boy comes and infuses with them, with the blob, they release it so both parties can win, which actually kind of explains why the dogs bark at you, right? Because the dogs can have that sixth sense that something's wrong, so they knew that the kid was not normal. And yeah. Or here's the theory that I've collected and have seen and interpreted. What I truly think is going on is a play. It's a play. It's a play of control with the player and the game designers. In the alternate ending, which, by the way, is freaking amazing. I did not realize that in not almost every, but in certain sections of the game, there's yellow chords, which I didn't even think about much. I accidentally even stumbled upon a orb. There's 13 orbs that you must destroy and find and destroy. Which then at the finale, right before you enter the blob, you find a secret entrance which leads you to the last one. The last one is unlocked when you have all 13 orbs destroyed, so there's 14. Once you do that, you go back to the bunker in the second orb, I believe, or something like that, which is in the middle of the farm, which I didn't even notice. Good job, Playdead. I didn't even see it. And you go down and you input this absurd upright code that I actually had to look up online because I had no idea how to do it. And you walk through this long, narrow cave and you come up to I want to say almost lab, with a computer, or at least a computer system, which has a helmet, which you're able to use that in order to control the husks, and 14 yellow cables going into it. As you are continuing right, a little smidge of a panel opens. If you open that and you unplug the computers, everything turns dark. Game over, sorry. Game over. You might think, wow, that was an ending? You turned off the power? Well, if you actually look closer, you can actually see the boy go back into the husk state where they're not being controlled. So the alternate ending implies that, that we were controlling the kid all along. And if you really think about it, the model of the ending right before everything finishes, where you are the blob and you're in there and stuff, I think it's a subtle jab, like a fourth wall break from the game designers, telling us that, hey, we're playing with you, with your control, and you're playing the kid. You're controlling the kid, right? We control the kid. We are able to control the blob, but the designers control what you're able to do, and even take away that control that they give to the player. And how this relates to how games can be art, I think Inside is a masterpiece. And look, the argument can be anything can be art, so therefore nothing can be art. But in actuality, I think art is about experiencing a craft. I think it's about a craftsman crafting out something and letting an outside source experiencing it, a human experiencing it. And I even think that video games will transcend the fine art because it is able to let other people watch other people play games, therefore still creating a conversation even though that person has never even touched a video game in theory. So in conclusion, yes, I think games can become art if you're willing to experience it for yourself or even watch it for yourself. And yes, I think Inside is amazing. Go play it.